Hello, and thank you for joining the Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs education session. Today we will be discussing the United States Department of Veterans Affairs program of comprehensive assistance for family caregivers, or as we refer to it, the Family Caregiver Program. My name is Anna Potter, and my role at Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs is Director of Aging Veteran Services. Joining me today is Kelly Brashears, Assistant Director of Aging Veteran Services. Kelly is also one of Oregon's accredited Veteran Service Officers, and her expertise will help walk us through some of the more technical parts of the Family Caregiver Program. Before we start though, Kelly, would you mind briefly explaining the important role of a Veteran Service Officer?
Thank you, Anna, for asking this question. In working with veterans every day, we recognize that navigating the federal VA benefits system alone can be a little overwhelming, especially for aging veterans. That's why in Oregon, ODVA proudly partners with all 36 counties, Oregon Confederated Tribes, and national service organizations to provide free accredited assistance to all veterans and their families. Veteran service officers counsel veterans and their families on available federal and state benefits they may be eligible to receive. They also assist in filing claims for service-connected disability compensation, pension, and other benefits. ODVA encourages all veterans who have had claims denied in the past by VA to discuss these claims with a Veteran Service Officer due to changes in federal law. To find the nearest office, there is a Locate Services link on ODVA's website, or if you prefer in-person assistance, you can call the Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs directly. Before we start, I just want to note that veterans' benefits and eligibility are regularly updated in response to the changing needs of the veteran population. The information contained in this session is current as of April 30th, 2021.
Thanks for sharing that important information on Veteran Service Officers. This brings up an area where there is often confusion, and that is the difference between Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs and the United States Department of Veterans Affairs, also known as the VA or the federal VA. The federal VA is part of the executive branch of the federal government. Most programs veterans and family members typically associate with veterans benefits are federal VA programs, including VA healthcare, service-connected disability compensation, burial benefits, and veteran pension with aid and attendance. ODVA is part of Oregon state government and partners closely with the federal VA. An important part of our work is to help connect veterans and their families to earn federal benefits. One of the most impactful programs that ODVA operates is the training and federal accreditation of Oregon's network of Veteran Service Officers that Kelly just talked about. This program ensures all veterans, regardless of where a veteran lives, receives the same high standard of service in every county of the state. In addition, Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs provides state benefits and programs that directly assist veterans across the continuum of care as they age, such as Oregon Veterans Homes, which are skilled nursing facilities for veterans, spouses, and Gold Star parents, conservatorship and representative payee services for veterans who can no longer manage their finances, and home loans to eligible veterans.
Today's education session is another part of our efforts to help connect veterans and their families to their earned benefits. Specifically, we will be covering what the Family Caregiver Program is, how it helps veterans and their families, eligibility, and the application process. This program is different from the program of general caregiver support, which has existed for many years within the VA.
A link to the General Caregiver Support Program will be provided on ODVA's website, along with links to other sites we will discuss today. As part of our advocacy efforts, Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs strives to make sure everyone who is entitled to this caregiver benefit knows about the program. In Oregon, more than 50% of the veteran population is over the age of 65. And whether it's due to age or disability, we aren't always able to physically do what we want to. Sometimes the activity is just as simple as putting on socks or buttoning up a shirt. Other times the activity is bathing or using the restroom. Even just getting out of bed might be a challenge for some. The reality is, if we are blessed to live long enough, we will all most likely need help with some or more of these activities. Most people prefer to stay in their own home for as long as possible rather than going to a long-term care facility, which can be costly. Having a professional caregiver come to your home can also be expensive and feel somewhat intrusive. So let's talk about the basics of the program and the recent changes that allow more veterans to qualify for this benefit. Prior to the 2018 VA Mission Act, the only veterans who qualified for the Family Caregiver Program were those who served on or after September 11th of 2001. The Mission Act expanded who qualifies for this program. The expansion is being implemented in 2 phases. Phase 1 started October 1st of 2020 and includes eligible veterans who served in the active military, naval, or air service on or before May 7th of 1975. Phase 2, which goes into effect October 1st, 2022, will open the program to all service-connected eligible veterans that meet the requirements regardless of their period of service. By including those who served during World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, Phase 1 has the largest impact on aging veterans. The 2018 VA Mission Act did more than just extend the eligibility date. It also expanded eligibility by removing the requirement that the veteran must need a caregiver due to a service-connected disability.
That's correct, Anna. Prior to the Mission Act, the Family Caregiver Program required that the veteran had to need a caregiver due to a service-connected disability. The Mission Act removed that requirement, allowing veterans who meet all the other eligibility requirements to be eligible for the Family Caregiver Program, regardless of whether they need a caregiver due to a service-connected disability or a disability that is unrelated to their time in service. However, the veteran must have a VA service-connected disability that occurred or was made worse during the timeframes discussed, and that disability has to be rated at 70% or more. The veteran could have one disability rated at 70% or multiple disabilities with a combined rating of 70% to be eligible. In addition to those 2 criteria, an eligible veteran must need at least 6 months of continuous personal care services. Anna, can you tell us what personal care services means?
Yes, personal care services mean that a veteran needs help with some of the basic activities of daily living, or ADLs. These include needing assistance with bathing, dressing, grooming, toileting, feeding oneself, mobility, and adjusting any prosthetic or orthopedic device. The veteran may also need assistance with instrumental activities of daily living, or IADLs. These are things like medication management, cooking, doing the laundry, grocery shopping, cleaning the house, or using the phone. Now, you may be wondering at this point, who qualifies to be a family caregiver, and does it have to be someone related to a veteran? Kelly?
No, the caregiver has to be either a family member of the veteran or someone who lives or will live full-time with the veteran if designated as the primary caregiver.
Kelly, what happens if the caregiver needs to leave the home to do things like grocery shopping or attend their own doctor's appointment? Who will take care of the veteran during that time?
That's a great question, Anna, and one that many caregivers and family members struggle with. Under the Family Caregiver Program, the veteran is allowed to have more than one designated caregiver. They can have one person who is assigned as the primary caregiver. This is the person who lives with them full-time. But they can also designate 2 secondary caregivers. These caregivers can be anyone and do not have to live with the veteran. These 2 individuals can provide care for the veteran during times when the primary caregiver needs to take care of other things away from the home, or just to give the primary caregiver a break. In addition to having 2 secondary caregivers, the Family Caregiver Program also offers the primary caregiver 30 days of respite care per year. Respite care is a special name for a short-term break for caregivers. It can be a few hours, a day, or even a few weeks, and is intended to give the caregiver a chance to address their own needs, or just to have a break from caring for someone else.
Kelly, I want to go back to something that you said earlier, which was that this program will pay for a caregiver. Can you explain how this part of the program works and what are the other benefits that are available to the caregivers?
Sure. The VA offers a wide range of benefits to all designated caregivers, such as training, mental health counseling, and beneficiary travel. For those of you who don't know, Beneficiary Travel is a program that reimburses for certain types of travel to take veterans to and from medical appointments. In addition to the 30 days of respite care mentioned earlier, the VA also offers the primary caregiver access to health care if qualified. This health care is provided through the Civilian Health and Medical Program, or CHAMP VA. One particular benefit this program offers is a monthly stipend, which is paid directly to the primary caregiver. The stipend is paid at one of two levels and is calculated based on a combination of factors. The first factor used in determining payment is based on geographical area where the veteran lives. The second factor is whether or not the veteran is able to self-sustain in the community. By federal VA definition, a veteran is unable to self-sustain in the community if the veteran is fully dependent on a caregiver to complete 3 or more of the activities of daily living, or if the veteran has a need for supervision and instruction on a continuous basis to maintain their safety in the community. As mentioned before, activities of daily living are bathing, dressing, grooming, toileting, feeding oneself, mobility, and the adjustment of any prosthetic or orthopedic device. Veterans who are unable to self-sustain in the community are considered level 1, and veterans who are able to self-sustain in the community are considered level 2.
Great. Thank you, Kelly. Now, we've talked a lot about what the program is and how you qualify. I think it's time to explain exactly how someone applies for the program.
Yes, and I just want to emphasize that this section is just as important as the eligibility requirements. The first requirement to apply is that the veteran must be enrolled in the VA healthcare system. If they are not enrolled in VA healthcare, they can apply online at the federal VA website, at any VA medical center, or at any one of the VA's community-based outpatient clinics around the state. To enroll in the Family Caregiver Program, the veteran needs to have determined who their primary caregiver will be. They must enroll together and can do this online at the federal VA's website, or they can apply at any one of the VA medical centers. If the veteran or their caregiver needs help or has any questions about enrollment, there are a few places they can go. Each VA medical center has a family caregiver coordinator available to help with enrollment or to answer questions. The veteran can also ask their primary care physician for assistance. And of course, veterans are always encouraged to contact the Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs, their local Veterans Service Officer, Tribal Veterans Service Officer, or National Service Organization with questions about this or any other veteran program available in the state.
Well, it's time to wrap up this education session, but I want to share with everyone the vision of Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs is that veterans and their families thrive in Oregon. We are always available to answer any questions veterans may have regarding their earned benefits. We also encourage all veterans and their families to reach out to a local Veteran Service Office, a Tribal Veteran Service Officer, or a National Service Organization to determine what benefits may be available. And because veteran benefit law changes, we encourage all veterans to meet with their local Veteran Service Office or claims representative at least once every 3 years, even if a claim has been previously denied. I want to thank everyone for joining us today, and to all of the veterans watching, a special thank you for your service.